Hi, I'm Nathan Kirk. I know it's been a while since I uploaded on this channel, but this is a much more different video, a much more impactful and intense and a tragic story of what happened to my niece, Deashanna Kirk. And I'm very happy and proud of my sister, which is her mother, sharing her story. And again, I do encourage you guys to watch the entire video. And yeah, without further ado, here it is.
Parental alienation has pushed her to become more involved with her community and become a voice for others that have and are suffering in silence. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chanel Kirk.
Hello everyone. It's nice to see such a beautiful crowd come out today. Thank you again for coming. First, I'd like to thank Seffanessea and the Against Parental Alienation Canada organization for bringing this flag raising ceremony to our cities to educate and inform everyone about parental alienation. Also thank you to Mayor Patrick Brown, who I know is an advocate and who stands by his constituents and friends in the midst of their adversity and dedicates himself to be a voice and an ally for many people of all backgrounds. My name is Chanel, and I was born and raised in the city of Brampton. This is my home. This is my village. They say it takes a village to raise a child. Where I come from, grandmas, aunties, uncles, cousins, and even the neighbors help us with each other's children. However, as parents, we must be extremely careful about who we allow into our village, because not everyone is entering with the best intentions. Some people come into our villages pretending to be a part of our families, communities, but their motives is to take a child from that village and never give that child back. This is my story. I had my daughter Deashanna when I was just 14 years old. I was a young mom navigating life. I made the choice to keep my baby after I was told I would get all the support I needed. First of all, I was not going to be the first young mother, and I certainly was not going to be the last. I was motivated to finish high school and provide a good life for my babies. My mother brought my daughter on a summer holiday with my brothers to Brampton, Ontario, where I was in summer school. While I was in summer school, catching up on credits I missed during my pregnancies. She took my daughter Deashanna to her ex-husband's distant cousin for just a summer visit, only to return to Brampton without her. I didn't understand why this decision was made without me, a decision my mother had told me she now regrets for the rest of her life. Whew. I had no idea where Brockville was, and I didn't drive, as I was just a 15-year-old at the time. I called, and this woman assured me that I was going to get my daughter back. She was just giving me a break to catch up on my studies while I had my son with me as well. I was young, naive, and I truly trusted my baby would return. I believed everything this woman was saying, and I thought she truly cared about me. My daughter was just 15 months old when she did this. Sadly, I missed her so much. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months, and every time was an excuse. She would keep moving the goalposts, but because I was naive, I thought she was just looking out for me. Being a young mom, I was told I need to get my own place, as that would be more comfortable for my daughter. I secured an apartment with the help of a social trustee. That is what was needed for me and my children. When they advised, it sounds like this woman is planning on keeping your child, you need to get police involved. I did. I went to Brockville with my son's father and his best friend to collect my child. I called the police, and they were unable to locate the alienator. The alienator ran away with my child. Later, the Brockville OPP and CAS advised that it is a family court matter, and they cannot or will not apprehend my daughter for me. PLCAS advised there were no protection concerns, and there was no reason why my child could not be returned to me. My daughter's fate and her return were left in the hands of the Ontario justice system now. I was heartbroken, being a teenager looking for a lawyer to get my child, and I fought for her for almost 6 years in court. The lies, the false allegations, and even the feeble attempts to have me arrested is what I went through. The court appointed a clinical investigator with the Ontario Children's Lawyer, and the findings were shocking. The alienating woman had a long history of mental health issues, poor parenting, violence, drugs, and even firearms and guns were exposed in this OCL report. The GTA OCL clinical investigator advised that this woman never had the intentions to give my daughter back, and that she is to return her to me. She noted that it was her plan all along. The OCL's recommendation was made to the court that this woman out in Brockville was to return my baby girl to me. After 3 years of court battles and allegations, we finally thought this nightmare was over and my prayers were answered. Sadly, after the Ontario Children's Lawyer made their recommendations, immediately after, more allegations came our way. That's when everything took a turn. The allegations were unfounded again and left to the court. This delayed the return of my daughter. Even further, and eventually time lapsed, another OCL was appointed. This time, it was not an investigator, but a law professor from Queen's University in Kingston. After 2 brief visits, a report was made from Kingston that too much time had passed and it would be too difficult to remove my daughter from this woman's care. This was said despite the alienator opposing my growth and my determination to get my child back. This was the beginning of the end of my legal battles. My legal aid certificate ran out, and as a summer student working for the province, my contract was ending, my finances were exhausted, and I lost all hope. The second OCL recommendation immobilized me, and I gave up. I felt all odds were stacked up against me, and I was exhausted mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I thought that maybe time would pass and things would get better. Again, I was wrong. I was alienated from my daughter by a woman who was not even blood related. Parental alienation happens under many different circumstances, not only in domestic divorce custody proceedings. I saw my daughter only about 3 times after that report was made, and I had to sneak to see her. Time did pass, and people oftentimes forget that children do not stay small forever. My daughter was an extremely beautiful baby girl, little girl, and she grew into a beautiful teenage child. What's devastating is behind all of her beauty and all of her pictures was a terribly troubled child. A child who suffered with severe depression, self-harm, and much suicidal ideation from the age of about 8 years old. All of which was covered up by the alienating woman. My daughter was crying out, but no one could hear her. The lawyer and judge that left her years ago moved on with their lives, and Deashanna was forgotten, just a child who slipped through the cracks of our very own justice system. Deashanna was a child who felt lost as a minority in a predominantly white community. She could not voice her feelings to her alienator. She was mistreated and often misunderstood. Her desires to explore her roots, culture, and to connect with me had become a weight carried around for years, and it took a toll on her. My daughter reached out to me and my son on social media, and we began to build a relationship. She said she would like to get to know me, but the alien woman would watch every little move she made and made her feel guilty for wanting to be with her mother. My daughter felt like she had to hide all the time. Our relationship was shattered but sporadic, but it was better than the nothing we had before. She told me she didn't feel out of place when she spoke to me. She felt like she was beginning to understand who she was and where she came from. Deashanna was angry about how her life turned out, living in Brockville, as she was the only one of our family members that was segregated. She was very hurt, and I told her I did my best fight, and I left it to faith to bring us back together. In the fall of 2023, my mother reached out to me and told me that the alienator was heavily struggling with my daughter as she began to rebel against her, and this woman was begging for my contact details. I was outraged and shocked. Imagine, after stealing my daughter, lying on me, creating heaps of false allegations against me and my family, she now was begging me to call her because my daughter had spiraled completely out of control. This woman kicked my daughter out when she needed her the most because she was not equipped to handle it, and called police on her when my daughter needed her the most. This was the beginning of the end for my daughter. This woman finally decided to reach out when it was too late. Unfortunately, we learned too late that my 16-year-old daughter was struggling out in Brockville, enduring an exhausting battle of substance addiction. She was addicted to fentanyl, meth, cocaine, marijuana, alcohol, and various antidepressants, sleeping and anti-anxiety medications. She even had overdosed at the age of 11 years old, all under the care of the alienator. In the first OCL report finding, these exact problems with depression, drugs, and behavior issues and lack of parenting accountability were noted concerning the allegations the alienator's own biological children. This was years long before this woman stole my daughter from me. However, it was all ignored by the law professor. My daughter had an overdose again and nearly died at the age of 16 years old. This woman lied and hid all of her shortcomings as a parent. The alienator woman, guilt and pride got in the way of getting her the help and giving my daughter back to me and my family years before it got out of control. The medical staff at Brockville Hospital advised that my daughter suffered a severe mental health issues due to her substance use. This would be extremely difficult for me to manage. I said I would love to have my daughter back. However, I was devastated when they said she's a danger to herself and to others. So here I was, trying to figure it out. 15 years later, I called PLCAS work and asked what I should do. She even admitted that this was way beyond my control, and this woman damaged my child beyond repair. I was persecuted, my character was attacked, my daughter was manipulated from childhood to believe I was an awful person. My family started looking into getting her help, as the alienator was only depending on government disability assistance and could not afford to get her the help she truly needed. We were looking into intervention homes to help her with her struggle with drugs. However, my daughter was now 17 and had to consent to this, and sadly, she did not. My daughter eventually had some uphill climbs with her fight against addiction and went to a group home where she appeared to be getting better. She got her own place and began to lose in her fight against addiction. A couple months later, my brother came downstairs to my apartment and delivered the devastating news that my daughter, Deashanna, had passed away at the age of 17 on June 30th, 2024. A funeral was held in Brockville. I was unable to attend because I had found out I was pregnant and I had severe morning sickness. My family advised that the stress could cause me to lose my baby, and I could not lose 2 children, as that would completely devastate and break me. I held a beautiful ceremony for her in Brampton in August, once I received half of her ashes. I did this to give my family and friends the chance to say the proper goodbye and closure they did not get when she was stolen 15 years ago. Can you imagine your firstborn child is taken from you under the guise of someone helping a young mom get on her feet, to never get your child back in person, but in an urn of ashes, after being alienated from that child her entire life? Our story is tragic. I won't ever get a chance to hold my daughter again. I was only given half of her remains as an apology after what was done to me. I know I only have a short amount of time to tell my story, and it is my understanding that there are petitions out there discrediting parental alienation. These individuals are committed to burying the reality of how parental alienation affects and destroys families. They refuse to see how it alters children's minds and emotions. Parental alienation also tampers with their self-confidence and can even derail a child's development even down the line into adulthood. I'm here to advise the public that it is very real and we suffered for 15 years. I work for the province serving the most vulnerable people of Ontario. The same unit that failed me and my daughter many years ago is the same unit that I now work for. However, I work in a different branch as a public servant, and now as a fully grown adult, I can see how public servants, such as the Ontario Children's Lawyer, fails these children. I have since wrote the same law professor who made that decision many years ago, and all she had to say was, "I am so sorry that things turned out this way." There are people that are suffering in silence, longing to be with their kids. My story is different. It isn't a mother and a father fighting in a divorce proceeding. I worked in the Ontario Court of Justice family, and I can't count how many children and families are affected by this. I have unfortunately been touched by this professionally and personally and professionally at work. I begin to close with asking those suffering to come forward. Stand with us against parental alienation. I call on my friends, also my colleagues of the and also on Ontario Public as an Ontario public servant and Premier Doug Ford to hear my story and look into making changes to the system that acknowledges this and prioritizes the healing of broken families. If we fight against parental alienation together, there may be a child that could be saved and reunited with their parents and family members. Please do not keep children away from their parents. I understand not all parents are able to provide an adequate care, and some are struggling with addiction. I also understand that a child's safety is extremely important, but if there's no safety risk, a child should not be denied the love of a biological parent. So please, although it wasn't the main cause, but parental alienation is also what led to the death of my daughter. You wake up every day with the choice not to fail your children. Do the right thing and stop parental alienation. Do you want to say something quick?
So this is my sister, and I didn't really get to talk to her much like growing up. I only see her like 1-2 times when I grew up. Like there was one time I went to Ottawa as a kid, and we were on the way back, and then my sister texted me, said, "Oh, you wanna see me?" Then I went to go see her, and like that was like the only time I seen her, like growing up, cause I was grade 8. I'm in grade 11 now, so like it was a while ago, and it kind of hurts my heart that I didn't get to grow up with my sister, cause like a lot of you guys had like siblings that you grew up with by your side the whole time. I'm just like here, you know, like we're miles away, couldn't see each other. It was hard, you know. And yeah, I don't really know what to say, right?
Thank you, Josiah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for watching the video. It means the world to us, and we do encourage you to share this video wherever you can. Share with friends, family. We want to get the story out there. The story that my sister told is only the beginning, and is a very micro fracture of the things that went on in those events leading up to Deashanna's death. And you know, my brother and I, we have our perspective of the story as well, as we lived in the environment with Deashanna, and we are hoping that one day we get to share that with the world, because this type of stuff happens all the time and it goes unsaid. And I just want to thank the Boys and Girls Club of Peel Region for giving the Parental Alienation Organization a platform to stand on. And there's so many people that was a part of this, that made this happen. And yeah, I also want to thank Seffanessea for, you know, giving my sister a voice and really encouraging her to speak about this. And again, there's so many people I want to list, there's so many people I want to name, but if I did that, the video would go on and on. But again, share this video wherever you can. You could subscribe to this channel. I know you guys haven't seen me in a while posting on this channel, but I feel like in the next few you know, months, maybe even years, I think this channel is definitely going to serve a much greater purpose now. It's after a situation and a tragic event like this. Again, I'm Nathan Kirk, and thank you all for watching the video.